So I don't know about you, but if you're a sales manager or a marketing manager or perhaps even a CEO, you've probably been thinking about this LinkedIn thing and maybe there's an opportunity there, but you're not really sure how to make the most of it and it all just feels a little bit too hard. And I can totally understand that. And maybe you're even concerned that if we write their profiles and we start to use LinkedIn as part of our business development or lead generation, if their profiles are written, are they all going to leave? Or are all the recruiters going to contact them? And I totally understand that as well. And I think back when I was writing profiles, I was the first LinkedIn profile writer back in 2009, and I was writing profiles for job seekers. And then I shifted and started to write them for entrepreneurs and salespeople. And what I noticed was the difference in the writing. The profiles were written quite differently, and so in fact they didn't get approached by recruiters at all. So what I want to show you is, if you're thinking about doing this, I think there are really 4 things you need to consider when you're bringing in a profile building program or a LinkedIn strategy into your business. So there are 2 scales to consider. The first scale along the bottom is really to consider the capability that you already have in the business. And it probably goes without saying, but without the capability, then the sales don't come. So, where do we start? Well, I think the first place to start is to consider with your team is actually building the profiles. So I'm going to call this establish, to actually establish the profile and actually write it. The problem that you might have is that you're going to have some people in your organisation or in your sales team who don't even know how to set up a LinkedIn profile, or you've got some people who have been using it for some time. So the capability is going to be quite different. The second step is to teach them how to engage with people. And this might sound like a really simple thing, but this is even things like just simply liking something, how to comment on our feed, and how to keep people visible. One of the things that I find when I'm working with teams is a lot of individuals are very scared to like or comment on something. They're afraid of what's going to happen. And sometimes I have to spend some time even just teaching them how to do that. So that next step is really about how do I teach them how to engage with people. The third step is teaching them how to educate. And educate is about thought leadership. So in other words, you might have been thinking, well, we're not necessarily an education type business, we're an industrial engineering company or something like that. But the reality is that the average person is spending 2 hours a day on social media. The amount of information that people are researching and trying to find is beyond what we've ever seen before. And people make about 90% of their decision is made before they get in contact with you, and 10 pieces of content are consumed before they even pick up the phone. So we have got to educate people. The challenge is teaching those people who are connected to your team on how to educate, as opposed to it just coming from your business website. So that's the next step. And the fourth one is empower. And empower is about making sure that you've got somebody internally who can be the champion for this. There is no point in having somebody run this externally. We can do all this piece in terms of building the capability to that point, but there needs to be somebody internally who is going to champion it, who is going to help people feel comfortable with their profiles, who's going to help onboard people, who's going to help people when they exit, those types of things. And so if you can do that, then you're going to be building the capability internally and you're going to end up seeing the sales results. So I look forward to seeing you soon.